Hello and welcome back. Today we're covering a Florida woman's trip to the beach. If it were that simple, of course, it wouldn't be on this channel. Generally, this kind of activity wouldn't warrant the attention of the police, except that this woman decided to make the trek across the crowded beach in her SUV at 50 miles per hour. Her mad dash through the beach would eventually come to an end, but not voluntarily. On May 27, 2023, 2:34 p.m., the Volusia County Sheriff's Office received multiple calls about a blue Nissan Rogue driving recklessly around the area of New Smyrna Beach in New Smyrna, Florida. Nearby officer Deputy Winhoven received the report and made his way to the scene. Upon approaching the beach, he was hailed by several alarmed citizens who reported that the SUV was now driving north on the beach. Clouds of sand kicked up behind the vehicle as it traveled at 25 to 50 miles per hour across the beach, just narrowly avoiding running over handfuls of beachgoers. A decade ago, a drive on the beach, complete with the perfect weather and wonderful view, was a common pastime lawfully enjoyed by many Floridians. However, in recent years, Florida officials have drastically cut down the number of beaches and the areas of those beaches where driving is permitted. This is almost entirely due to the sheer number of injuries, accidents, and deaths that resulted from vehicles being permitted on beaches. As of 2023, there are only a few beaches you can legally drive on, with New Smyrna Beach being one of them. However, as stated before, one can only drive in a certain area of the beach and they must obey the posted traffic signs just as if they were on the road. The speed limit for most Florida beaches is 10 miles per hour, as traffic signs erected throughout New Smyrna Beach clearly demonstrate. Deputy Winhoven drives his cruiser onto the beach, and while he did see tire tracks in the sand traveling north, he didn't see any blue Nissan SUVs. He cautiously starts following the tracks, which lead him past signs that are clearly labeled "No vehicles beyond this point." The officer was now crossing over into Smyrna Dunes Park, an area of the beach where driving is not permitted. As he maneuvers past dozens of beachgoers, the blue SUV is still nowhere to be found. The deputy creeps along the coastline for a few more minutes, following the curve of the beach. Just as he rounds the bend, the tracks suddenly veer off into the water. As he drives past, he finally spots the Nissan, but it wasn't on the beach. It was in the ocean, submerged tires deep with waves crashing up as high as the windows.
Who's driving?
They're over there. We're just some of the people they almost hit, like this little girl.
Okay, what happened?
I'm not sure. I was the driver.
The driver is Sarah Ramsamy, a 26-year-old nurse from Orlando. When asked about how her car got into the ocean in the first place, she said that she attempted to drive a little ways in the water in order to get away from people. However, shortly into her voyage, her engine stalled and her car began to be pulled by the current, eventually getting stuck in place. In a later conversation with officers, Sarah readily admitted to having enjoyed 2 vodka and lemon beverages before getting behind the wheel. She also advised officers that she takes Effexor, a prescription medication used to treat major depressive disorder, panic disorder, social anxiety disorder, and generalized anxiety disorder. Effexor also intensifies the effects of alcohol.
And they kind of stopped us and they said that we almost hit a child. I didn't think that we did. But that's what they told us.
And a unit on the reckless driver on Smyrna Dunes.
Yeah, well, the people are down here because you can't drive on this part of the beach.
I'm so sorry. We were driving from New Smyrna and we got over here. And we were just trying to turn around. We didn't think that we could do a U-turn around here, so we were just trying to keep going.
Let me go look in the car real quick. You have your license on you?
Yes, I do. It's in my phone, but it's in the car.
I would get your phone out of there. Your car's not going to be moving for a while.
Okay, can I get it?
Yeah, go get your license and your phone.
The officer noted in his report that Sarah's eyes were red and that she swayed as she walked to the car. A smell similar to that of alcohol was also present on her breath as she spoke.
She's going to go to jail. Okay?
No.
All right, so you can go with her, or you can stay out and get her out of jail with a bond.
And why am I going long is there?
Right now, I think you're driving under the influence.
Okay.
Officers who suspect that a driver is drunk would typically require the suspect to perform field sobriety tests in order to assess the possibility and level of intoxication. However, due to the instability of sand in the presence of water, Officer Winhoven wisely concluded that this wouldn't be the appropriate place to conduct an accurate field test. Ultimately, the scene spoke for itself. The presence of Sarah's tire tracks on the sand and her car in the ocean, in conjunction with an entire crowd of eyewitnesses, was all the proof officers needed to arrest her.
Alright. Then we got reckless with multiple people over here. You were inches away from multiple people. Okay?
I can't help her.
Florida Statute 316.192 defines reckless driving as any person who drives any vehicle in willful or wanton disregard for the safety of persons or property. Willful and wanton essentially means intentional and aware. Sarah was driving across the beach intentionally, in other words, on purpose, and she was aware that her driving was putting the safety of others at risk, which, according to her own words, is the reason she ended up driving into the ocean in the first place. By definition, Sarah is guilty of reckless driving.
Go ahead, turn around for me. Change my back. Yes. Sorry.
What do I do now?
Call the Volusia County Branch Jail to get her bond. It's not, still have a bond. You can bond her out.
Sarah was transported back to the sheriff's department where she was immediately given a breathalyzer test. Sarah's blood alcohol content was found to be 0.15%. She was tested again 4 minutes later with a result of 0.14%. According to Florida Statute 316.193, a person is guilty of the offense of driving under the influence if the person has a breath alcohol level of 0.08 or more grams of alcohol per 210 liters of breath. Sarah's breath alcohol content was nearly double the limit outlined by Florida state law. Hence, she is also guilty of driving under the influence. Given that Sarah could have easily killed someone, Sarah was let off relatively easy with 3 uniform traffic violations, 1 for disobeying a traffic control device, 1 for reckless driving, and a 3rd for driving under the influence. She was released from Volusia County Jail just a few hours later.